cat.
Good morning. You're listening to CHSR Radio, Instant Breakfast New Brunswick. I'm your host, John Heinstein, bringing you the sounds of New Brunswick this Thursday morning, September 6th. Tammie can't be here with us this morning. She's had some scheduling issues. So for the next little while, at least, I'll be hosting this on my own. So this is episode number 41, Old, New, Near, and Far. We're going to play a selection of different tunes, some from people living in New Brunswick still, and some from people who have moved away, some new tunes, some old tunes. But we're going to start out with a tune by a fellow named Alex Thorne, who is originally from St. John. He moved out to Whistler, BC for a while, where he recorded this album that we're going to be listening to called The View from Here. I think he's back in Moncton now. He's been in the music industry for quite a while. He was a frontman for a highly acclaimed prog pop collective called Happy Medium. We're going to listen to a tune from Happy Medium after this particular one. So The View from Here, recorded out in Whistler. Part of it was recorded in St. John. Got a bunch of well-known St. John musicians on the album, including Clinton Charlton from the Penny Blacks and Bonnet House. So let's start out with a tune by Alex Thorne from the album The View from Here called On Tour. little bit of mellow introspective folk rock from Thorne off his album The View From Here, and the song called On Tour. So as I mentioned earlier, he was frontman for a St. John band called Happy Medium. So we're going to listen to a tune by Happy Medium off their self-titled album called Forget Me Not. This was put out around 2004. I'm not sure exactly what to call this. I think maybe prog pop, because it's got some melodic rock. It's verging on pop, but it's got these really interesting arrangements and musical interludes, almost jam bandish in kind, on their Reverb Nation page. It's been such a long time since this band was operative that they have a Reverb Nation page and nothing else. Their description of themselves is a whirlwind of melody and rhythm, embracing power pop, progressive rock, jam band, and modern hard rock, with echoes of everything from Blind Melon to Radiohead to Led Zeppelin. Pretty good description, I think. You're going to enjoy this tune. It's a little bit heavier than the previous one, but every bit as listenable. So here we go, Happy Medium with the tune Forget Me Not.
Consummation was a breeze I never thought I'd find meaning. Like the last one, she's the last one. Still redeeming, knowing she's the best because all the flowers still come to their end, and she knows me consistently. It's
That was Happy Medium from 2004, a St. John band with a tune called Forget Me Not. Frontman Thorne. We're going to play a tune by another expat, New Brunswick expat, named Mike Plume. He was born in Moncton, but he's been out in Edmonton for the longest time. He just came out with his great new album, 2018. It's called Born by the Radio. It's kind of an alt-country sound. It's full of guitars and Hammond organ and pedal steel and all that great goodness. I find there's something really simple and kind of true and honest about his songwriting. This is what Ken Kelly of musicnerd.ca says. More than 25 years and 12 studio albums into his career, Canadian roots singer-songwriter Mike Plume feels he's got something intrinsically right with his newest effort, Born by the Radio. And he's been around for a long time. 12 studio albums. He shared the stage with bands like Blue Rodeo, Corb Lund, Steve Earle, John Hyatt. and recently with Lindy Ortega. Interesting piece of trivia about Mike Plume is when Stompin' Tom died in 2013, he wrote a tribute to Stompin' Tom called So Long Stompin' Tom, and the tune went viral. Plume was invited to perform the song at Stompin' Tom's Memorial in Peterborough, Ontario. If you want to hear Mike Plume play, and I think you're going to want to, then he is going on a tour of all across Canada, actually, but he's got 2 stops in the Maritimes. He's playing September 26th in Halifax at the Carlton and September 28th in Havelock. Go to his website or his Bandcamp page and check out the beautiful album cover. The album cover and also the interior artwork of his album are all done by an Alberta artist named Steve Coffey, who kind of paints in the style of Van Gogh landscape. Really, really beautiful art. If you're interested in acquiring some yourself, you can go to Steve Coffey's website, and he has prints for sale. Anyway, let's listen to a tune off Mike Plume Band's brand new album, Born by the Radio, a tune called Long, Long Line of Fools.
It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools to believe that love would ever play by the rules. I said this would be the last time, at least 100 times or more. But these old blues ain't nothing I ain't had before. And it's a long, long line. Well, it's a long, long line. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools to believe that love would be anything but cruel. Yeah, love seems to love to kick you when you're down, with your broken heart in pieces on the ground. Well, alright. And it's a long, long line. Said it's a long, long line. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. And it's a long, long line. Well, it's a long, long line. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. We come from a long, long line of fools to believe that love would never bend the rules. We said this would be the last time, at least 100 times or more. Yeah, but here we go, just like we've done before. That's right. And it's a long, long line. Well, it's It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. A 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 long line of fools.
That was Mike Plume off the album Born by the Radio, the tune Long, Long Line of Fools. What a great sound. I mean, that's the sound of a seasoned player, a seasoned songwriter, and a seasoned vocalist. Great stuff. The entire album's like that. Go to his Bandcamp page, you can go through his whole catalog of albums, and there's all kinds of gold buried there. We're going to move to a fellow named Greg Harrison, who we played some of his tunes before. He goes under the name Greg, G-R-E-J, but he's also in a number of other bands. He's a percussionist by trade, but he conceives of percussion in a very unique way. He doesn't limit himself to just drums. There's all kinds of things going on in his music, and just the variety and the scope of all of the things he does is just mind-blowing. I had the pleasure of playing with him a couple of weekends ago with Sleepy Driver. We did a show with a number of symphony orchestra players, and one of those people was Greg Harrison. So he's a very talented guy. He scored all of the classical arrangements for our show, and basically one practice, and everything went as smoothly as it could possibly have gone. So the guy has his fingers in all kinds of things. He's playing with Jeremy Dutcher. They have a little trio together. They're getting ready for a gig at the Polaris Awards, and I'm thinking that Jeremy Dutcher stands a really good chance of playing that. One of the greatest albums to come out of New Brunswick in a long, long time. Greg Harrison is going to be there to usher in that. He's done all kinds of things, really. Like, he's played with Cirque du Soleil, he's played with Fred Penner, he's done collaborations with Sabian, and he's also played in a local Fredericton band called Queen Cab, who the singer and songwriter for Sleepy Driver played in. So I thought we'd play, rather than the Greg stuff, a couple of Greg's other projects. One of them is called Falcon Punch, and that is an instrumental electronica project. It's on the UK label Blood and Biscuits. It's a trio, so it's got Greg playing the drums, or drum machines and various other electronic versions of the drums. Falcon Punch, the term itself, I had to Google this. I knew it referred to something. Falcon Punch is actually from the Super Smash Brothers video game series. There's a character in there called Captain Falcon, and he has a special move where he throws a powerful punch with his fist engulfed in this falcon-shaped flame, and as he punches the other character, he shouts out, "Falcon Punch," as he deals out the blow. That's where the name of the band comes from. They got a 2014 album called Show Me Your Moves. We're going to listen to a tune off that called Like Your Type. That was Falcon Punch with percussionist Greg Harrison off the album Show Me Your Moves and the song Like Your Type. We're going to stay with Greg Harrison and check out one of his other projects, a band called Taktus, not to be confused with the Fredericton band Taktus. Greg's band is spelled Taktus, and it's a classical band with a marimba duo. So Greg is playing with another marimba player called Johnny Smith. They put out this album in 2015. It's called Glass Houses for Marimba, which is a piece by composer Anne Southern. She's a seminal Canadian minimalist composer, and they did arrangements for 2 marimbas. You can actually see some YouTube videos of them playing these particular arrangements, but it was a well-received album. Number 9 on CBC's Top 10 Classical Albums of 2015, and like the reviews that poured in were just gushing with praise. So just a few little snippets of the reviews for this album. This album succeeds on all fronts from I Care If You Listen. Scene Mag said it is an absolutely brilliant recording. Gapplegate Music said it was virtuosic, and the Whole Note magazine said the playing throughout this CD was impeccable and articulate. And CBC Music said the percussion duo Taktus wasn't even on our radar until Center Discs dropped this sonic bomb in July, and now we're super fans. And then Camel Review said the playing is impeccable and sensitive, the pickup is clean, and the playback sound is rich. This was nominated, although it didn't win, but it was nominated for an ECMA for Classical Recording of the Year, the 2017 ECMAs. So we're going to listen to a tune off of Glass Houses for Marimba. It's called Glass Houses No. 5 by the band Taktus. Glass Houses No. 5, a marimba duo featuring Fredericton percussionist Greg Harrison and Johnny Smith, another marimba player. Apparently they put that together while pursuing master's degrees at the University of Toronto. A little bit of trivia about Greg. His dad is also a drummer in Fredericton who plays in a local band called Torch and Rope. So now we're going to move to Julie Aube, who in 2017, she's from Les Hay Babies. Most people know her, and of course know the Les Hay Babies, who came into the New Brunswick music scene with a big splash in the early 2000s, I guess. Anyway, the three of them they still play together, but they have put out solo albums, and Julie Aube in 2017 put out her own solo album called Joie de Vivre, Joy of Living, and it has a really interesting kind of vintage sounding psychedelic rock. Really, really good performances on it. Guitarist Garrett Mason playing, drummer Mark Doucette, guitarist Mike Trask on it. We're going to listen to the title track, but we're not going to listen to the version on the album. We're going to listen to a live performance of the tune. There's a YouTube video. If you dial it up, you can see in the background that local Fredericton blues guitarist Keith Hallett is there playing the guitar. He's got a nice dirty little bluesy solo about halfway through the tune. A little aside, you should check out Keith Hallett's new album, Janowski. It is a fantastic blues bass, psychedelic rock album, loud and noisy and chaotic and wonderful in every possible way. They just had their CD release last weekend. I hope this gets, the play that it deserves. So back to Julie Aube. Let's listen to the title track off of her album, Joie de Vivre, a live version, Keith Hallett playing the guitar.
On perd du temps pour suivre ce que nos cœurs nous disent. Voyage le monde, on suit les ondes positives. Des fois on gagne, des fois on perd la chemise. On se divise. Tant tu réalises que ça va te prendre par surprise, que la vie est pas longue, tu peux pas la revivre. Rien que je te montre, que je te prescrive. Joie de vivre, joie de vivre, ta joie de vivre, ta joie de vivre. Ça n'en prend pour survivre, c'est pas de quoi t'apprendre dans un livre. Faut que tu n'envoies au monde, puis t'attends que ça t'arrive. Va le trouver, faut que ça dirige. Joie de vivre, joie de vivre, ta joie de vivre. Est-ce que tu m'as mis ta joie de vivre? J'suis tanné de courir en rang, j'suis paré pour le marathon. J'amorce mes lacets tête, j'suis prête pour la faire.
That was Julie Aube off the album Joie de Vivre and the tune Joie de Vivre with a guitar solo by Keith Hallett, a Fredericton blues guitarist. So next we're going to move to Moncton, a brand new album by a band called the Gregories. They just came out with this a couple months ago. It's called Offal Truth, Offal. It's a fantastic album. Not a lot of information out there about them, but on their Bandcamp page, they describe themselves in this way. The Gregories play strange pop, disquieting love songs. I think that's a pretty apt description. Most definitely pop songs, but they're pop songs with a weird little twist. Got a bunch of band members here. David Gregory. I think they're called the Gregories because the lead guitarist and vocalist is named David Gregory, and then their drummer is named Gregoire Landry. I've also got a drummer, Jerome, or he would be their bass player and also vocalist, and then Julie Doucette, keyboards and vocals. All these people have played in other bands in the Moncton area in the past, and if we have time, we're going to try to squeeze in a couple of tunes from those old bands. Colonial Quarrels would be one of them, and David Gregory played in that one, and then we're going to do a tune by Jerome with his old band, Jerome, the Congregation. But let's start out now with the Gregories off their 2018 album, Offal Truth, a tune called Your Smile.
Hit it in the garden.
That was the Gregories off their 2018 album Awful Truth with a tune called Your Smile. So we're going to stick with David Gregory, who is the lead guitarist and vocalist for the Gregories. Go to one of his old bands out of Moncton around 2014. They had a band called the Colonial Quarrels, kind of an Americana roots band. They've got a bunch of sort of loose singles floating around there. I don't think they actually produced an album itself, but if you go again to the Reverb Nation page, so you know it's an older band if you're on a Reverb Nation page. If you go there, then you can find 4 tunes of theirs. I think we don't have a whole lot of time left, so I'm going to forego the description and just jump right into a song called Wise Old Man. This is by the Colonial Quarrels. Dennis Surrett from Les Païens is playing guitar and lap steel on these tunes. Here we go, Colonial Quarrels, Wise Old Man. That was the Colonial Quarrels with the song Wise Old Man, fronted by David Gregory, who is now with the Gregories. So we're going to stick with the Gregories. The bass player for the Gregories, John Jerome, has a band called John Jerome and the Congregation, and in 2013 they put out an album called Ask Not What I Can Do For You, But What We Can Do Together. And we'll listen to a tune called She Speaks to Animals off of that. Here we go.
In the morning, take our time getting rolling.
That was John, Jerome, and the Congregation off their 2013 album, Ask Not What I Can Do For You, But What We Can Do Together, tune called She Speaks to Animals. I should mention that Julie Doucette from the Gregories is also playing on that album. She's a keyboardist and the vocalist. Well, I guess that's all for this morning, Thursday, September 6th. This is CHSR Radio, 97.9 FM, Instant Breakfast, New Brunswick. I'm your host, John Heinstein. You just heard some of the sounds of New Brunswick. Have a great day, and we will see you again next week.